thank you, athletes. You may now proceed to your respective booths because it's now time to get ready for your next battle.
Alright, so as we mentioned earlier, Poro, we have an entire pool of killers right now here in our Southeast Asian Games. That roster of multiple countries, of course, trying to get that precious gold in the form of Tekken 7, the fighting game we have for this particular event.
Yeah, that's true. We just saw the players right there at the venue assembled on stage. That's 7 countries and 11 different representatives like right there. And they all play very differently with different characters. As you mentioned earlier, such a diverse roster of picks that can come out of Tekken 7, like 40 plus characters, and these players, they all have their own style. So later on, we'll be seeing them fight each other. It's there are 2 groups of players basically right here for the competition. We're starting off with a round robin for these 2 groups of players.
So that means that they will most likely face everybody,
Yes,
and they have to rip off those points out of their opponents as much as they can. And those players, I believe, with the highest scores, ladies and gentlemen, are going to advance later on, headed towards the finals.
That's true. There's going to be a playoff bracket, of course, later on. A double elimination playoff bracket. So that's going to be interesting. Very standard when it comes to holding Tekken tournaments in the country, of course. The round robin, a little bit of a more thorough format, basically. So, this is going to be interesting because there are, as we mentioned earlier, so many different countries showing up. We've seen, of course, Philippines, as usual. And right now, we are seeing them setting up on the stage. This is, of course, Philippines Albar.
Yes.
Going up against Laos's THAIPACHAN.
THAIPACHAN, yes. Safe to say, as we mentioned, Poro, that the Philippines, of course, being here in our home country right now, there is a huge following, but of course, not to set aside what THAIPACHAN can actually bring forth to the table, because this is one style that many may have not seen before. We remember that we have reiterated anonymity becoming an enemy, so as much as we know how Albar can fare, even with a lot of characters on his belt, we don't know what THAIPACHAN can bring to the table.
Yeah, definitely. In the past year, there are so many unheard of names in the whole Tekken community that just showed up and started performing wildly in high-level competition. And Laos, we've never actually heard much about the Tekken community over there, though I did get a chance to talk to the player. Apparently Tekken is not that big, just as usual, like for esports. Tekken 7 is definitely not the biggest. The other games will be there, but of course still they are very competitive in their region. So I'm very excited to see just what level of Tekken he's going to be showing us against Philippines Albar right here.
Right, and you know, the very first character that Laos could pick, like the THAIPACHAN could pick, could be a difference maker already. The first win is a boost of momentum and confidence for anybody, especially in a fighting game like this, where you need to implant something deadly into your opponent's mind so that he starts doubting his very own skill. And with Albar being very, again, equipped with the knowledge amongst multiple characters, he himself cannot expect anything out of Lao right now.
That's true. Lao right now has that advantage of making a strong first impression, basically, against his opponent, Philippines Albar. And as we see right now on stage, these two players, whenever you're on stage right now preparing for a match, it already starts the whole competition right here. You have to be able to control your nerves and really adjust yourself to expect what your other opponent might be throwing out. And as we see a glimpse of the character select screen right there, there's already a very interesting hover on the side of it. I believe that's Lao over there. Yeah, so he's hovering over a Noctis pick, so that's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, Albar hovering up the zero, but I think that's just the default placing of the cursor.
Could be, or he could have deliberately put it there. Again, when you get to the character select screen, ladies and gentlemen, you're already psyching your opponent out. Because Tekken, like with any other contact sport, you have to be familiar with your opponent's style. You have to know whether they're defensive or offensive or just right in the middle. We don't know how they're gonna play their cards, and let's see if Albar can again make a surprise pick here, as he has done over the past. We know that Albar, again, at a very young age, and of course, being very, very enthusiastic, waving at the camera right there, is Albar. Looks like he does have oh, wow, okay. It did Laos big right there.
Yeah, it seems that he has already decided to select Noctis in for this competition right here. And, oh my goodness.
Of course. And I'm pretty sure that the crowd has went wild with Albar's pick, namely Lars Alexanderson. For those of you who may not be aware, this is the original character of Albar from the get-go since he started playing Tekken competitively.
Yeah, he has made waves with this character. Although for a while he has been playing so many different characters, but now he has fallen back in love with this one. Been using it in international competitions recently and has been showing some amazing results with it. So let's see how, of course, Laos THAIPACHAN will be able to deal with this serious threat of a Lars Alexanderson.
And by story form, these two characters know each other very much. They are best friends.
They're fishing friends.
They are. However, that may not be the case right here as they move to a very small stage. Wow, great opening punish there from Albar. Oh, what a duck. However, misses the punishment.
Yeah, that's true. Now goes for that sidestep blow right there. Both of these players in each other's faces, going for some quick pokes at the moment. And now at the disengage.
Okay, so we know that Lars is not a basic second character here, Moro, and that might be a surprise to some people because this is a character who existed in a different game. However, not to say that he's not equipped, but right now Albar looks like he has the entire lead, and that round goes straight to
a very strong round right there from Albar. Of course, very dominant round, and there goes for a running throw as well. THAIPACHAN not breaking it 2 in a row, but now tries to interrupt the third one successfully, but unfortunately gets wall through.
Wow, nice conversion of a combo there from Albar, and again, look at this lead that he has over THAIPACHAN, but wow, gets a combo right in. A small combo right there, but enough to reduce damage against Albar, but that punishment got in round number 2.
Yeah, that's true. THAIPACHAN always going for that mid, and Albar was ready for that punish. THAIPACHAN seems to like using that role as a mix-up tool, but of course, Albar being very patient, he has the life advantage, just patiently waiting for whatever is going to come.
Look at that, very smart as well of THAIPACHAN to actually use the role to close some distance, and Albar not within range to retaliate against that miss of a hit. Now with 40 seconds left, THAIPACHAN looks like he's in trouble here with half-life deficiency, and Albar still yet to receive his first chunk of damage.
Absolutely, also it's a rising punish as well. THAIPACHAN is on his way towards the wall. This is going to be a big damage, and that is it. 7 golden letters, a strong 3-0 win for Philippines Albar.
Wow, and THAIPACHAN, of course, he does have the privilege of picking a different character, but at this point, he goes to a different stage. Maybe somewhere that he feels more comfortable, you know, a little bit up to par, and he does go for where Noctis is most popular for. Ladies and gentlemen, as we mentioned, he is a guest character from another game, and this stage right here, pretty big, but tailor-made for said character.
That's true. Simple enough. Just 4 right corners right here, and massive enough for the wall carry that Noctis does have. This is, of course, the hammerhead stage, and you know, this confidence of THAIPACHAN to stick with a Noctis pick. You know, maybe he believes that he has yet to really release the potential of his character. You know, when you're in international competition, sometimes nerves get in the way.
So again, we mentioned earlier that this is a lore battle, if anything. For those of you who may not have read that cutscene at the bottom of your screen, they were talking to each other. So that's again something to look forward to. But again, let's get on back to the match now with Albar putting THAIPACHAN in range already. Oh, tries to punish that aura. A little too far though.
Trying to whip out, bait that counter hit as well. THAIPACHAN trying to use different tools right now. Forward towards the one strike. Beautiful. Rising 2-2. Goes for that attack stroke. Just goes for that damage right there. And now Albar is on the other side.
Wow, and then the warp strike again missing wildly. Great block by THAIPACHAN, but a little too much of a punishment attempt right there. Now the first round again goes to Albar. Let's see if THAIPACHAN can start his momentum right here because he does get the first damage.
That's true. Gets knocked away. However, now both of these players still at center stage. A bit of damage to their names right here, but no opening in. There's that running big sword off the focus right there. It's very linear, just a slight side from Albar already made it win.
The blue bolt as well as a punish from Lars right there is very important. And now look at that, a shoulder getting Albar his second round already, and he is closing in on this win. Oh, the punishment must be marked like there from THAIPACHAN.
Yeah, that's true. But of course, he tried to respond with that low spear, but Albar was ready for it. There it is again, the movement of Albar. Just superior in terms of movement right there, evading everything that Noctis is trying to throw out.
What a conversion as well from Albar, despite the bad wall and angle right there, and THAIPACHAN now trying to again. Wow, great mid-air convert there, but Albar still unfazed right here, and THAIPACHAN about to enter rage here. Just back away the mark.
Now he walks right into that art class, and that should go to finish things off. And another 3 straight rounds for Philippines Albar. So that's going to be a win for him. 2-0 against Lars THAIPACHAN.
Okay, so again, ladies and gentlemen, it is a matter of character mastery here for Tekken 7, and we know that Albar, of course, and for those of you who may not be aware, he is a character multi-specialist, so he does have a lot of character under his belt. One of them is actually Noctis. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is THAIPACHAN who used Noctis against Albar with a little bit of how should I say this, in a way that Noctis wasn't good but it looks like Lars had the upper hand in this match.
Yeah, it definitely does. Albar seems a little bit more comfortable on that stage right there, being very aggressive. THAIPACHAN getting overwhelmed by the offense that Albar is throwing out. And look at that, just a very confident shoulder. Usually you don't just throw it out. Yeah, right?
There are moves, ladies and gentlemen, in Tekken that you need to be very cautious of when you throw them out. And Albar, again, as Boru mentioned, he looks really commanding with that said set right there. So thank you so much again for tuning in. This is the 30th Southeast Asian Games. We are in the esports part of our event, and that is Tekken 7.
Yeah, that's true. Once again, bringing you the action, of course, is Porkun, and I'm joined by
Pika, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, thank you for tuning in. Tekken 7, again, as we mentioned, is the fighting game that made it I'm so flattered, honestly, that Tekken 7 has made it this far.
Yeah, that's it's one of those fighting games out there that have only gotten better through time with all the different additions. Even just recently, we had a bit of an update to the game that actually adds some changes and a couple of characters, which unfortunately will not be viable for competition at the moment. Yeah, so those won't be used today. But yes, we are going to be seeing a lot more.